Man, I love my Mario Gundy. This thing's enormous. Had an interesting episode a couple days ago. A friend of mine was visiting from Argentina. It was a cool visit. I just posted a video about the sentimental value of pipes, inspired by a pipe that he gave me. You guys can check that out. So a couple nights ago, we built a fire in the backyard. First time we've done that since getting back from Brazil. So this is another sentimentally charged moment, because the kids were kind of hearkening back to when we used to do that. It was new for the youngest. But my eldest, who is 14 now, asked me if I would read some of The Hobbit to them. Just to kind of recreate when I used to do that, when I used to read The Hobbit to them by the fire out in the garden. Great times. And here I am, 2 minutes into the video, finally getting to the beginning of the story. As we were hanging out by the fire, it had gotten dark, too dark to read. And my youngest, Mara, who's 4, wanted to see stars. She wanted to be able to look up and see stars. But it was a cloudy night. Plus, we live in the middle of our town. Not a large town, but we are right downtown. And there's actually a street light on the far corner of our garden, so that our garden is never completely dark. But bottom line is, it was a cloudy night, and stars could not be seen. So this girl, my beloved daughter, asked if she could pray that the clouds would go away. And she had been asking about wind, and if wind was God breathing or blowing. To that I said that was a beautiful thought, in a way that was true, but I explained wind a little bit to her and said that it was how God made the world and how God sustained the world, that He's always doing everything in the world all the time, right? Because I don't want my kids to think that the world is a wind-up watch. But she wanted to ask God to move, or to let her see stars, to move the clouds. So I encouraged her to do that. But perhaps you, if you're a parent, can sympathize with the brief impulse I had of discouraging her. The rationale behind that would be that it seems unlikely that God would move the clouds for her. And why would I want to teach her things when she's young, to ask God for things and not receive them? But it was a thought I quickly discarded. And it ended up being quite a beautiful moment. So she knelt and she prayed that God would move the clouds for her. And he didn't. Although we all kept our eyes open, looking for holes in the sky. And it did seem at one point like something would open up. But nope. Didn't faze her one bit. You know, one of the most important things about that moment is the idea that we should be talking to God and telling God what we want. The talking to God, the asking God, is often, and even usually, more important than the thing that we're asking for or the thing that we're saying. God is very immediate for this little girl. God is everywhere for this little girl. Right? Is wind God blowing? That's a very good thing. You know, her parents tell her no all the time. If she asked her parents to move the clouds so she could see the stars, her parents would very likely say, "No, I'm planning on making it rain tomorrow morning." So like I said, it didn't faze her one bit. So I thought that a beautiful moment. And I guess the comments I'd love to see from you guys would be, have you with your children had moments like that? Where you attempted, or perhaps you did, discourage your kid from asking for something unlikely or frivolous, perhaps. I think there's a special beauty in asking God for things that are beautiful, that are strictly gifts and nothing else. I'd love to get your comments. Another interesting conversation I had with that little girl that night. She wanted to pray again. Well, you know, she's such a talker. She's always talking. My only kid is like that. She's very used to having people dote on her and pay attention to her, being the youngest. She's often tempted to show off, right? Tempted to. So I try to manage that. And we had the guests there, so I encouraged her the second time to pray to herself, to pray quietly. Like I said, so this girl she's a sharp little cookie, but just always talking. It turned out, hilariously, I think especially if you know her, that she could not wrap her mind around the idea of praying in your head. You just say the words inside your head. She couldn't understand that. And I think it's because she pretty much just says whatever comes into her head. She just says whatever she thinks, and it's such a part of her that she can't even understand the idea of saying something inside her head. So she just said it quietly. Well, that was a chance to talk to the kids about what a wonderful and variegated thing the human brain is. And how the things that we think are normal aren't necessarily normally human. They're just normal with our people. So I gave them the example of reading. Reading is a way of getting the words that we speak to a place where people can't hear me. All right, so I can speak words, so they can be written down, and then someone far away can read those words and speak them out again. Words are for speaking. And the example I gave was St. Augustine, a great scholar, was astounded when he began to study under Anselm, because Anselm would take books, read them, and he wouldn't move. So, reading to yourself once upon a time was still something you did, moving your mouth and even speaking out loud. Because, of course, words are for saying. It took a real large-scale mental shift to get to the point where you could, or people would just read to themselves. And now, of course, people write poetry, and poetry that's just meant to be read inside your head. But anyway, so all that to say that there are a lot of different ways of doing a lot of the things that we think are normal. So yeah, this little girl couldn't even conceive of the idea of saying something inside her brain and not outside of it. All right, y'all. Well, that's it. Again, the topic was this matter of praying for things that are beautiful or frivolous or decorative. Your kids praying for things that you think are unlikely. One of the things I forgot to talk about was, this, we ought to believe that God can do anything, might do anything, will do anything. Now, he's a God of chaos, but he is a personal God. He listens. He's not just a force. He's moving clouds across the sky, and he's going to make it rain. God is personal, and we can speak to him. We can talk to God, and he can talk back. Faith ought to be the sort that can for a hole in the sky so we can see stars. All right, dudes. Peace out.